it's gonna be. It might be a brief live chat. I don't know. I never know when I pop on live randomly like this how long it's gonna be. But I want to talk about Diddy, girl. I have been. When I say every day, I have been like watching Tisa Tells, Armand Wiggins, who Chef's Kiss, Wendy Williams 2.0. Um, and make it make sense, ma'am. So those are the people who I've been like watching like daily to get my updates and my news on the Diddy trial. And I do get on Twitter and I look at Megan the Reporter to see like what she puts out there, because she's pretty credible as well. Because if y'all know who she is, she covered the Tory Lanez trial with Megan Thee Stallion. But girl, so we are in week 2 of the trial. Like it started 3 weeks ago and they started picking out the jury, but we are officially in week 2 of the trial. And so much has happened that I want to make a more formal live video where I sit down with my notes so I can outline everything that has occurred. So let me just say this. What we know is that Diddy is on trial currently with the feds as it pertains to racketeering, prostitution, and sex trafficking. Those are things that we do know, right? And so, as far as like a lot of people are saying like this looks like a DV case, this looks like a DV case, but they know it's not a DV case because the prosecutors laid out evidence of abuse with him and Cassie and how he's just a scary, big, mean, person who beat up on Cassie, who beat up on Don and just took advantage of everyone, right? And so well, I want to talk about specifically the RICO charge, right? So this is basically a criminal enterprise, whether it's legal or not a legal enterprise or a legal business, right? But basically you are running a criminal enterprise through a business, a legit business, or you just a gang member, right? And so in order to prove racketeering, there are co-conspirators as well, or co-defendants as well, people involved as well. But in Diddy's case in particular, he's the only one on trial. Girl, why it look like I got grays? I look like I have grays, but it's just the eco. It's just the not eco, but the gel, whatever, my edge control. But yeah, so they are that's the most interesting thing. Like another lawyer pointed out, like, Brittany, there's no co-defendants. I don't think the RICO charge is going to fit. What the prosecutors have done, they have offered immunity, and there's no doubt about it. They have offered immunity to those who were co-conspirators to P. Diddy in his trial. And so that's why we're not seeing any co-defendants or co-conspirators like we did in the YSL trial and things such as that. And so the other piece to that, right, as far as like proving RICO, they're going to have to prove that hi you guys, hey, how's it going? They're going to have to prove that there's been different crimes that have been committed, whether kidnapping, arson and all those other things. And I think today they had Kid Cudi testify, right? And so Kid Cudi testified to the arson part because allegedly Diddy blew up his vehicle, and so it's just a wild trial. Like y'all can't tell me that this Diddy trial is like the trial of the century because I can't stop watching. Like every evening when they thanks for the sub. Every evening when they get out of trial, when they get out of court, baby, eyes to the TV. The first person I can't wait to hear. So if y'all want suggestions on who to watch, Tisa Tells, Armand Wiggins, and Make It Make Sense. I'm gonna tell you, Tisa Tells go live in the very beginning, in the morning, in the afternoon. Like she gives you like basically like an hourly update. Like as anytime she get a chance to sneak out the courtroom, homegirl is on her phone reporting live from the Manhattan courthouse, telling us what is going on with the Diddy trials. And sis takes our opportunity to go and talk to people if she can, because she tried to go talk to Kid Cudi, but she got cut off by security or whatever. So that's the one. If you want like back-to-back update, like nonstop throughout the day, she hops on live and will give you an update. And so Armand Wiggins, let me tell you, Armand has a gift. Armand Wiggins has a gift. He can tell a story like no other. And I noticed that, when was this? I did a TikTok talking about him like maybe like a couple of weeks ago, a week or so ago. But the way this man lays out a story and keeps you engaged, oh my God. I know y'all didn't want to just see all of my face, but no, like for real. Armand does a really great job with storytelling. And so Make It Make Sense. I really like him. I just like his personality. He's very calm and very, he's funny as well. But those are the 3 people I've been watching for like my Diddy updates. And so like, understand this. So the job of Diddy's team is to create reasonable doubt in the mind of the jurors. Why are we talking about Diddy? Because Diddy, this is the trial of the century, and I talk about cases and lawsuits on my channel all the time. But so yeah, so anyways, the defense job is to create reasonable doubt, and I think from what I'm hearing, they are doing a really good job of creating reasonable doubt, at least in the minds of the people who are giving updates. Now, there are some people who are strong like supporters of like the feds and like put Diddy away, right? But then I think also you have to approach this with a non-biased approach, because Armand even said it's going to come down who has the better legal team, right? Is it the feds or is it Diddy's defense? And so like I've heard they are doing a hell of a job for the most part with creating some reasonable doubt and having people confused and like losing their mind. Because the thing about it is Diddy guilty? He's guilty of something. I'll put it like that. He's guilty of something. And so have they met all the elements for RICO? From what I heard, I don't know. I don't know just yet. They might have met it with Kid Cudi when they talked about arson and he blew up Kid Cudi's car. What are the other crimes? I guess they're trying to say prostitution, sex trafficking. Yes, they engage with prostitutes. The male prostitutes, right? We know that for a fact. And we've seen now the pictures have came out of like the schmeck workers that they were engaging with. Like we see that. And so it's just a very salacious trial and a very salacious case. And it's like, I feel like a lot of us, and myself included, I'm getting lost in the salaciousness of this trial, and not like trying to stick like with the elements of each crime to see like is the prosecutors making their mark. But understand this though, this trial is supposed to last well until July, so like so much more is to come, right? I heard the most disappointing testimony was with Donna Richard. I believe she actually got impeached on the stand, and right now Diddy's civil attorneys have filed a motion to dismiss her civil lawsuit that she filed against Diddy at this time. So I heard that, and also I heard that one of the jurors whispered to someone else that they did not believe someone who was testifying. I think it was Don. Girl, I don't know. So that's why I was like, I think Diddy's legal team is doing a damn good job of creating reasonable doubt. Because in order to, you have to, as a prosecutor or for the state, feds, whoever, you have to prove your case beyond a reasonable doubt, meaning it has to be at least 99% certain this person did what y'all are claiming he has done. Girl, this is something. I really want to know what y'all thoughts are. There are some people who are Diddy supporters, and it's like, I'm not mad at it. You know, we are in America. You're free to have your own opinion, believe in what you want to believe in, right? But I've just never heard anything good about Diddy over the years. I've just never heard anything good. But like, as far as like some people like Lil Boosie is so funny. Lil Boosie was like, they just freaks. Like, it sounds like he's just a swinger. Lil Boosie basically said that Diddy's on trial for living a swinger's lifestyle. And I was like, that's a very interesting perspective to have. Could it have been that he's just a swinger? Like, we hear about the freak-offs, the baby oil, the Astroglide, the stripper hills. Cassie was going under fictitious names like Janet and all these other things. Like, could it have been that he was just a freak? And so, you know, what cannot be discredited is the fact that Cassie was abused, and was she coerced into doing some of these things that Diddy had her engaging in with these freak-offs, right? We know that she was a drug addict. Both of them are drug addicts. She's a recovering drug addict. She engaged in hundreds of freak-offs. From what I'm hearing is Cassie basically stated that she did not wish to engage in the freak-offs, but one of the sex schmeck workers, the Punisher, said Cassie seemed like she wanted it. And so much so when he was performing oral sex on her, she scooted her cat up closer to his face, saying she was ready to be punished. Basically, girl, I can't, I'm talking like this on camera. But no, this is what came out in the trial. Like, it's just sex. So much sex, so much sex. It's literally sex, drugs, and like hip hop. Like, this is what this trial is about. Well, I mean, it's not what it's about, but that seems like the theme of the trial. Let me just put it like that. And so, a lot of people were trying to figure out which Gina gonna testify. Gina was one of Diddy's longtime girlfriends. And I don't think she is. I don't know. The defense says she wasn't, but how would the defense know if that's the prosecutor's witness? So I found that to be pretty interesting. So they were saying she was victim in number 3. Now, if you know, she was on Tasha K's YouTube channel a couple of years ago giving a play-by-play detail of her relationship with Diddy and how abusive it was for years. So we all know he's abusive, but what the prosecutor, not the prosecutor, excuse me, the defense was trying to paint with him and Cassie is that the abuse was mutual on both sides. But I think they're trying to use the abuse as a form of like, this is his way of coercion, trying to get her into like this criminal enterprise. Girl, it was a mess. It was a mess. They had like one of Diddy's former sisters testify, one of his former assistants, I talk really fast, testified, and basically he testified to the fact that he was like giving drugs, picking up drugs, giving drugs to Diddy's friends. They went on a ride out with pew-pews in the car and stuff like that. Like he engaged in all of that, just adding to the criminal enterprise. And like I'm pretty certain he has immunity. I think someone else who testified came out and said they had immunity as well. But girl, I heard that the defense team did really well yesterday as it pertains to like the expert witness. I think they deemed her an expert witness for the trial. The psychologist or whomever she was, when they talked about years of abuse, like physical abuse, financial abuse, and you know the traits of like an abusive person and things such as that. And Diddy's team did a really good job of painting a picture like, you know, you get paid to do this, like you get paid to be like a professional witness, and you teach people how to be a professional witness, and you met with the feds 6 times and you don't know anything about this case, and you didn't interview any of the alleged victims. Like girl, I heard they are doing the damn thing. You know, do I think Diddy's gonna get off? I don't know. And so the most important thing to look at in trials is the make of the jury. And I heard that they had a pretty fair make. They had about 7 men, I forget how many, 4 women, 7 men or something like that on the jury. And so with a fair make of different races and backgrounds, which is always important because that's the most important thing, which I find is the hardest thing about a trial is voir dire, picking at the jury and making sure you have a fair make of the community for your client or for the state, depending on whose side that you're on. More specifically for the defense. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are about this Diddy trial. Like, it is so much happening day to day. I feel like I can't even keep up. I feel like I can't. And make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, hit that notification bell. I just dropped a video about an hour ago talking about Black women in Hollywood, DDG, Holly Bailey issue, Scott Jackson, and Yerky Palmer. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and check that out, girl. But anyways, back for my shameless plug of telling y'all to subscribe to me, because you need to subscribe to me because it's lit over here, okay? It's lit over here and it's only gonna go up. It's only gonna go up. So anyways, y'all, but back to this. So like the schmex trafficking part of it all, right? Are they trying to say that Cassie was schmex trafficked by Diddy? I don't know. Do it seem like she was? They went from country to country engaging in sexual activity, but that was his girlfriend. And you know, a lot of people are saying, like, well, why did she engage in this type of activity if she was so afraid? Why didn't she just leave? A lot of grown men were afraid of P. Diddy. So it's just like Cassie, who was in love, seemingly, and being abused by him. Like, it's hard to leave. On average, it takes about 7 attempts for a woman or a person who's a survivor of abuse to get out of that relationship. So the fact that people are questioning, why did Cassie stay? She was scared. She tried to leave. This man blew up somebody's car. Diddy is crazy, okay? And even so much so, I heard the feds came and got arrested him sooner rather than later, because he got arrested like a day or 2 earlier than what he expected, because apparently Diddy was out making calls, trying to make some moves, like call people, I don't know, to get things done, to get them on his side. I think Diddy has about 8 witnesses that they expect to call. But the prosecutors, they have to paint a picture. They have to paint a picture. And so that's what they're doing. It's just a slow coke. Girl, speaking of coke, apparently they had pills with Barack Obama's face carved out on it. And it's just like, what in the Illuminati is going on? What in the politics is going on? No, like, seriously, why is there carved out faces of Obama on pills? Like, this whole trial is just, you know, it's a lot. It is a lot. I want to sit and do a more formal video, more live, where I can outline everything and really give y'all my true opinion. But just on the surface level itself, it sounds like Diddy is he's guilty of something. I think his team is creating reasonable doubt. Do I think Diddy's gonna get off? It's too early to say. I'll be back to give my opinion once all the evidence has been presented, once all the testimony has been completed, before they do the closing arguments. Because right now, it's a 50-50. One day the prosecutors do well, one day the defense do well. Or sometimes it's too close to tell. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so I'm just trying to keep up. And it's like, girl, what I envision for y'all is for me to hop on live every day to talk about it, but I ain't got that kind of time. I honestly don't. I wish I did. At some point, I will have that type of time. Make sure y'all subscribe to my channel, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave comments, let's engage. I want to know what you guys' thoughts are as it pertains to P. Diddy. Do y'all... I really want to hear from a Diddy supporter. I really want to hear from a Diddy supporter. I've heard, I think, on Armand's channel, that there were some people who was like, Cassie, like, some people are like Little Boosie. He's like, Cassie loved the lifestyle. Like, people are saying Cassie loved the lifestyle. She loved the money. She loved the family. She loved the notoriety. And so she was willing to get her beat behind it. And the fact that, so the interesting take is what people are saying is that when they broke up, Diddy got with Young Miami, aka Carisha. And from that relationship, Carisha got a podcast. She did like a lot of interviews, and she got her that talk show podcast, whatever. She got things from it, right? Besides just like being attached to Diddy as his girlfriend, she actually got stuff. Versus when Cassie got with P. Diddy, you know, it was for the hopes that she was going to be a star, and so she signed a 10-album deal contract with P. Diddy, which, I mean, it was never given that, because granted, Cassie's a pretty girl, but I don't know if she really had the talents to even extend out a 10-year or a 10-album contract. Like, let's be honest. And so she didn't get what she wanted out of the deal. She didn't even get the man. She didn't get the ring. She didn't get the baby. So a lot of people are saying she was, you know, being somewhat spiteful when she filed that civil lawsuit a year and a half ago against P. Diddy, which kind of offset the feds getting involved in doing a criminal investigation into Diddy once he quickly settled with Cassie. And so I think she said she got like $20-30 million, something like that, from that settlement. I want to say $20 million. And so, like, I thought that was an interesting take, where people felt like Cassie was just like a scorned lover, essentially, which is why she sued Diddy for a $20 million civil lawsuit. And so, because she saw how Carisha was being treated and paraded by P. Diddy and actually getting things, and how he was actually somewhat helping her career, whereas Cassie's career went stagnant and didn't really go anywhere because we just do her as Diddy's girl. Like, I didn't even know what the woman sound like. I still don't know what she sound like. I don't know. I've heard her song Me and You and Long Way to Go, right? But for the most part, I don't. Like, Cassie was always on mute. So some people said that they sensed some sort of jealousy could have been there, which offset this whole thing, which I thought was very fascinating and a very interesting take. So, you know, I just love hearing other people's opinion, whether I agree with it or not. I just find it very interesting, because I didn't think about that, because I really don't pay too much attention to celebrities in their lives unless like lawsuits and stuff break out, and it's like, girl, I'm all on it, because that's just my tea, you know. So anyways, I know there's 3 people in the video, in the live. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this whole P. Diddy trial, and like what's happening? Like, do you think that Cassie could be a scorned lover? Or do you think that, you know, this is a woman who suffered years of abuse, and she truly loved this man and really wanted to be with this man, which is how she painted it to the jurors. Like, this is someone she was in love with. She only did the freakouts because she wanted to be close with Diddy, because I guess they had sex afterwards, or whatever the case may be. It was her time to spend with him. And so the sad and unfortunate thing is, like, a lot of her time was spent isolated. She's like, how I viewed it when she testified for the prosecutors through her direct examination, I was like, Cassie was a sex slave. Like, that's literally the picture that was painted in my mind from hearing others who went to the trial talk about her testimony. She was literally a sex slave for P. Diddy. And she was a pretty girl who was able to, you know, get with this very rich man, and he used and abused her. used and abused her, which is quite sad and unfortunate. So, but anyways, and so also it also kind of sounded like a Disney princess that was like locked in a dungeon, because like a lot of times like she did not spend holidays with him. She did not, get to stay at the house. She would have to be like rushed to like a hotel so that people wouldn't see her, because she always had a black eye or a bruise or whatever the case may be, something from Diddy just jacking her up, beating her up. It just, and so she never was the Kim Porter, she was never the Daphne, she was never the Gina, and it was like she literally, was used and exploited. And so it made me think about this time when 50 Cent did an interview and he was talking about basically seeing like a naked picture or a video of Cassie, and him telling Diddy like, hey, like your girl, I saw your girl, nude. And it's just like, at the time I didn't really believe 50 Cent. I thought he was just trolling, but now hearing all the things like Diddy threatening to like release sex tapes and all of these of Cassie, it's just like, girl. So the other thing I want to say that a connection people are making is with Lauren London in the whole P. Diddy, because apparently she was mentioned in the indictment. I would have to go back and look because it's been so long since I looked at it, but apparently she was mentioned in the indictment. And so what people are saying is that Lauren London introduced Cassie to P. Diddy, and Lauren London also introduced Nipsey Hussle to P. Diddy. And so like what people are trying to say, and I don't want to spread rumors, and you ain't hear this from me. I don't even know if this is real or not. I can't imagine it to be real, but some people are trying to say that we already know. It's safe to say that Diddy was a swinger. Cassie was a swinger. They engaged in a swinger lifestyle. So what they're trying to say in this connection, from what I heard on Twitter, I forget which podcast it was, but that Lauren London and Diddy and Nipsey and Cassie and all of them were swinging, exchanging partners, doing what they do. So that's what some people are saying about that. I heard that on a podcast through the internet. I'm not trying to spread rumors, I'm just letting you know, but apparently she was mentioned in the indictment. I don't know. So I thought that was kind of interesting and a little bit messy as well, because we like the tea as well. Like, we like to talk about the law and celebrity things, but we also are into a little bit of the celebrity tea and gossip as well. But anyways, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, that like and notifications, comment, subscribe, engage with your girl as it pertains to I gotta go. Bye.